All right. Hello and welcome to another Rational Magic video. Today we're jumping into Core 21. Premier draft, all the players, all the good things. Set this up. It has been one hell of an aggressive meta with these M21 drafts. I keep wanting to say a Korea draft, but man, that was crazy. Korea was nuts. It's a lot of very explosive decks running around in M21. A lot of pretty serious punishment for being in greedy decks, for being in value-centric late-game decks. Been experimenting around with a few of the shrines. A lot of them are hit or miss. It's kind of funny, the blue deck, or the color blue in general, just has so much efficient card draw. Woo! That's a fun card. That the blue shrine is actually worse than like just about all the other card draw. Hooded Blightfang, 1/4 Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy it. This is a pretty good card. It's about pretty good card to be in the scale. 1/4 Death Touch is really hard to attack into. Pestilent Haze actually just wrecks a lot of decks in the meta. Sanctum Harvest is good. It's a nice solid ramp spell. Indulging a Patrician. 3 mana for 1/4 flying lifelink. Beginning of your end step. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, each opponent loses 3 life. That's really cool. Rousing Reed is actually one of the better cards in the set. It's pretty core to quite a few strategies in either... I mean, you can play as in blue-red, you play as in blue-green. It's pretty incredible. And I think it might even be the correct pick, but... I gotta take the spicy rare. Gotta take the spicy rare. Teferi's Insight. If you draw a card, except the first one you draw each turn, instead you draw 2. So this turns your draw spells into draw 2 spells. But it's a little bit slow to really be effective. Fungal Rebirth. 3 mana, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If a creature died this turn, create 2 1/1. Saplings. That actually seems really, really good. Skyward Sniper, 1/2 with reach. Spend 3, deals 1 damage to a creature with flying. Is a big investment. The Roaming Ghostlight is very, very good. 5 mana, 7/3. I haven't actually seen that around yet. Dies too easily to removal. Sanguine Indulgence is good, but it's a little bit difficult to get value out of. A Fungal Rebirth, I think, is very, very good. These are both these cards have good synergy with tokens and small creatures. 3 mana, 2/1 flying. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. That's kind of fun. 7 mana, 6/6 flyer is just too late in the curve to really be effective. Power is equal to the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Enters the battlefield, discard 2 cards, and draw that many cards. So Rummage, quite a bit worse than Loot. Swift Response, very, very good. 2 mana, premium removal. Lofty Denial is really good in a Flyers deck, but it's a little bit of a build around. Nothing here fits super well with what I've chosen so far. I could end up in a green-white deck, and I think I'm just going to take the 2 mana instant removal. Really solid. Very, very solid. Peer into the abyss. Peer into legacy. You are not good in draft. And I see another Pestilent Haze making it this far. 5 mana, 4/3 lifelink. Nothing here excites me. Thrill of Possibility is an okay card. But Pestilent Haze is just the best card in that pack, I think. It does quite a lot of work. Black Green Land. Sky Scanner is a fine card. Gain 4 life, 8 if a creature died. The Devil is a bad card. Archer, lifelink card, Frantic Inventory. I like Brontodon a lot. There are some very potent enchantments. that I like to get rid of. So we have a resurrection spell. We have a control spell. Pretty good control overall. Swift Response might be one of the better cards I would have picked up so far. Looking at Carrion Grub, it just fits my colors and supports the recursion theme really, really well. And everything else there is kind of mediocre. There were a few playables. The trap that I ran to last time I played Grub is I didn't have high power creatures in the deck, which I'll have to keep an eye on this time. 4 mana 2/3, whenever you draw a card, it gets +2/+2. I can try it out. In the 4 slot, you really want creatures that already have 4 power to enable a lot of the green cards. A lot of the good green cards. I can see myself splashing in a Swift Response. It's like an insanely good removal spell. It's a card that is like a bit deceptive because we've seen effects like this around a lot. But the difference between this being instant speed is just enormous. Completely upgrades the card to a new tier of power. Sanctum Harvest I actually like quite a bit. Gnarled Sage fits the curve and meets the requirement of having a 4 power creature in play. So for that reason, I think it might actually be the right pick. I do like this card, but I've had too many games now where I just lacked the consistent synergy between my cards. And 4 power matters is one of the big things green wants to do. I think I will take Snare Spinner over the 5 mana 7/3. It just dies to too much. And Snare Spinner is actually really good. There are a ton of flyers around that you want to be able to deal with. So I can start organizing the deck out here. Really nice balanced curve so far. Pretty much guaranteed to be playing black with this. I don't really know how easy it's going to be to meet the conditions of Fungal Rebirth. A creature dying is pretty easy. If this is just a 3 mana create 2 1/1s, it's an okay card. Yeah, so I think it's alright. I have a lot of double green spells. Making Pestilent Haze actually pretty hard to cast. Run into that problem a few times. And Run Afoul, I think is main deckable at this point. I do think it's main deckable. Four mana 4/3. Enters tapped or a dual land. I'll just take a dual land. And thanks to this setup, this UI page that I've come up with, you can actually see all the cards that I'm drafting and my body is not covering up a large portion of the screen. That's working out pretty well. I'm liking this a lot so far. I'm missing a lot of the like more powerful rares. I still haven't opened a good rare, I think, in any of my games. 6 mana 4/5 Menace. Target creature gains +4 power when you play it. Bone Pit Brute. For pack 1, I feel pretty good. Gain 4 life. If a creature died this turn, gain 8. I am in best of 1. This actually might be a format where best of 3 is a little bit better than best of 1. Idle Endurance. Enters the battlefield. Exile all creature cards with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard until Idle Endurance leaves the battlefield. Pay 2, tap. Until in turn you may cast creature spells. So this just encourages you to play nothing but weenies and then go off. Sanctum of Stonefangs I think is really good. I've drafted it, but I've never actually opened it. Drowsing Pteranodon is so good. I actually think it's a first pickable card. It's pretty essential to this deck succeeding in anything it does, is having as many of these as possible low in your curve. It's also really easy to enable as an attacker. Cultivate is very, very good. Hunter's Edge is up there. Yeah. Hunter's... Rise Again. Hunter's Edge is good enough that I think I have to pick it. It's also has the +1 counter synergy to it, which is very, very nice. And also green is kind of lacking in removal, so I'll pick up whatever I can. Pretty well-rounded deck so far. The white card in that pack was extremely powerful, but it has anti-synergy with what my deck is trying to do. 7 mana, Chromatic Orrery. You may spend mana as though it were any mana of any color. Taps for 5 mana. Crazy stuff. I have no life gain in the deck. I do want a Ranger's Guile, but Pride Malkin is pretty important. It's a card that I need to draft. I'm going to take the land out for now so I'm not miscounting the number of playables I have. These have been like relatively weak cards or low rarity cards. But they're also core to what the deck is trying to do. I will play an Uprising. I'll play a Ranger's Guile. But I'll happily take a card draw engine over the Guile. Fungal Rebirth is kind of so-so. I don't know yet if that's making the deck. Like, it seems good. I'm playing double Carrion Grub. I'm definitely doing the graveyard things. My goal is kind of to have Carrion Grub be a 4/5 as often as possible. Or even a 6/5. Blue-green land might actually be pretty key to pick up. 7 mana, 5/7. Hexproof Duty. I think I will take the Temple. Just in case I need to splash colors. There's a lot of synergy between blue-green and counters. More so than green-black. And honestly, there aren't that many cards that are forcing me to be in black right now. So I do want at least one Colossal Dreadmaw in the deck. I probably want a couple 6-drops, but I don't think more than 2. We're being responsible today. It's weird, like, this card is trying to have synergy with Garruk's Uprising, but at the same time doesn't. It's more of an anti-synergy. 2 mana, 2/1 flash. You can spend 3 to pump it. It's been okay. You can probably kill something with a 2/1 flash. Three mana is just an extremely high rate to be giving a creature +1/+1, but 2 mana, 2/1 flash is fine on its own. It just covered my mouth in water. My face. Starting to lose my voice here. Ornery Dilaphosaur is okay, but it doesn't enable anything. Mind Rot is an okay card. This is kind of a poor pack overall. Pump something by 2 toughness and something by 2 power. Weird. Yeah, I don't really care what I got there. Visionary is great. Give me a Visionary. I'll play every Visionary. I'll play Rise Again in this deck. I'll play Hunter's Guile. Keep giving me playables. Maybe a second Rise Again. Cauldron has actually been pretty good. It's done good things for me. That's a good reanimation target. The problem with being in green-black reanimation is you don't have a way to discard creatures. Another Rebirth. Interesting. 3 mana instant to super pump something. Let's try it. Super pump. Cultivate. Here's the Obsessive Stitcher. Another Gnarled Sage. I actually think I need the Gnarled Sage to fill out the curve and have enough 4-power things. Like right now I have nothing on 4 that actually has 4 power, which is like hopefully the Carrion Grub gets 4 power off something. Which is getting a little bit more likely. Seriously lacking in the early game. It's actually kind of painful. I mean, I'm so lacking in 2 drops that I would probably play Track Down. That's kind of desperate. I do like Short Sword. It just gives you a lot of good trades. Dig further into the deck. That's fine. Ooh, Primal Might. Sick. Really good fight spell. So I'm at the point where I'll have to start cutting things to make this deck work. Gleamsower is kind of tough to cast. Another Hunter's Edge. I think I have to pick. This is pretty solid. I'll probably play another Visionary exchanged for something. I didn't really spend a lot of time on that one. It's funny that, like, I see this card printed, well, everyone, you see it printed in so many sets. There's probably like 3 of them in standard right now, and a dozen of them have been printed. in the history of Magic. But it's a card you take. It's just solid. Another Fungal Rebirth. Like, why am I playing Fungal Rebirths? Does Fungal Rebirth help me do anything? I have double Carrion Grub. I don't know. I honestly don't know. A creature has to die. And I have like no early game creatures. It's a big problem with this card. I'm starting to think it might be bad. It's definitely no Cultivate. Fetid Imp. It's pretty playable. Yeah, that has to be better than something though. It's a freaking Cultivate. The card is legendary. Legendary! Oops. Don't take the land. You silly goose. Legendary. I need to like 1 more Snare and 5 more Drowsing Pteranodons. Hmm. 1 mana 0/3 Defender. 2 mana Look at the Deck. Rise Again. I already have 1 sideboarded. And Return to Nature, which I actually think is playable in the main board. Ranger's Guile, Primal Might, Blackguard, Drowsing Pteranodon, Spinner. Thrashing Brontodon, Primal Kin. Which actually is very little to hit. So that's not playable on 3. It's kind of a win more card. I just happen to have a lot of things with counters. And it's instant speed. It's a 3 mana combat trick, really. At base, it's a 3 mana permanent +2/+2. If there's a single counter on something, it becomes a 3 mana permanent +4/+4. Which is quite good. I should be able to see a lot of the deck. Rod of Foul is actually like pretty sweet. I have 3 kill spells right now. Mr. Stinkity Snake. That Hooded Cobra is beautiful in a Hepatra deck. If anyone remembers Hepatra from Amonkhet. My very first commander. I have a spreadsheet with that card ready to be ordered. So this hand sucks. It's got 0 action. That's a little bit better. Garrick's Uprising might be a little bit too slow. I have all 3 drops. Ha! Is he gonna hit nothing? Yeah, they're all creatures. Wonderful. Glad you picked up that one. Hey, now it's kind of like I didn't mulligan. That's so funny. Sanctum. Gonna pressure me. So I can cheat out Gnarled Sage a turn early now. Early Sanctum is very, very strong. It's gonna deal a lot of damage over the course of the game. Weird. How dare you. But my curve here is excellent. Just fantastic. The ability for green to cycle through their deck is very, very nice. Normally green has a lot of problems with card draw. Weird is terrifying. Weird could just grow massively, non-stop, forever. Real possibility, making a 3/3. He can potentially pump it one more time. I don't know of any 1-mana black instants. Neither does he. I'm on a clock. I could very well lose to just him stalling out the game. Nice thing about having the Hooded Fang is no matter how big this gets, it'll be able to kill it. But I am going to hit a point where this just dies if it attacks. 3/2. Okay, so I can give my guy the +2 toughness and vigilance this turn. That's a really nice resurrection, pretty well timed. I want him to double block, that's wonderful. You get your 1/1 back, I play my Death Touch guy. It always surprises me when these guys get like a little bit into rock. Gotta be a little more composed. Getting so lazy. Shaking my desktop around. Wonder if you can hear that. The monitor and such. Hobble Fiend, 2-mana 2/1. Pay 1 mana, sacrifice another creature, put a +1 counter on Hobble Fiend. You are welcome to. Absolutely welcome. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can do both of these, which is hilarious. I can't wait to play this card in Hepatra. It is so great. Just so great. Mitch Bones. So if I don't resurrect Dreadmaw, this remains 6/5. So otherwise it has 2 power. I'm pretty incentivized not to cast my spell, in which case I should have Song with Everything. I was thinking I would do both in a turn, but I need to brace him. Like, I'm attacking with huge creatures every turn, and he's still, like, breaking even with me. Not attacking was, I think, definitely a mistake there. What? Stuffy doll. Whenever Brass Taunter is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. Wow. 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 He's got a Stuffy doll. I have no trample. Okay. I have no trample, but I have a plan. Man with a plan. That's actually horrible for me. But the nice thing is, I can kill his dude, I can resurrect the trample dude so that even if he blocks it to deal 6 to me. Man. Yeah, this has got to be right. So this should be lethal next turn, I think. Should be lethal next turn. He can deal 6, 7 to me. This would be a pretty painful game to lose. But I'm by no means out of the woods. Please die. What was that ping? Does he have a combo I don't know about? Don't think so. Oh, it was I was seeing hooded Blightfang resolve. I thought I was taking damage. Gotta move those headphones. Bouncing around. What I really need is the card that gives all my creatures trample. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Double blocking the trample guy doesn't actually prevent more damage. That was the worst thing you could have done. Like, the best thing he could do is block the 2/2s, let the 6 go through. Like 4/4, 2/2/2s, and take 6, 7, 8, 9. Was the best thing he could have done. By sacking him, he actually prevented less damage. He could have blocked a 2/2, sacked him, and it would have been fine. If someone's attacking you with trample, don't try to, like, block the trample with 3 things that are just gonna die. Block the things that do not have trample. Like, it would be one thing if they had high toughness and they could absorb a large amount of the trample damage. That's a bit of a different story. But, yeah, they did not. They were 1 health creatures. Pretty good first game. I don't know if this music is even audible, but I will find out when I edit this video. I shall find out. It's pretty solid. Little land heavy, but this can kind of guarantee that we curve out nicely. The magic tooltip. I'm learning. I really wish my water wasn't empty. Really like that water. Track down. Show me emissary. So if it's a creature or land on top after I scry, I draw the card. I absolutely... Oh, that's terrible. Wow. I don't even need the land. Like, I want to just draw Hunter's Edge next turn. I think this is correct. That I dump all of it and then hope. Yes. Paid off. My honey, my beautiful snake, my snickety snake. Look at that gorgeous little thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. This could be important. Primordial Might. +X and fight target creature. He is very suspiciously leaving 4 mana open. I don't need black mana yet. I could actually pump this guy and fight. And then save him with Rager's Guile. But I'm breaking even by attacking in this way. And I think I'd rather just play my own threat. And that was really solid. That is always a danger when you're playing against green or white. Is that they have this or they have the 2 mana Hexproof spell. It's always something you have to watch out for. Three, 4, 5. Next turn I can drop the 4/4 reach. This is a lot of damage, but I'm gaining life and he can't do this every turn. Like, they're cantrips, so he's not technically losing cards, but this isn't the best way to use cantrips. There's probably better payoffs in his deck. But who knows, maybe he has 10 million cantrips. Oh, 4 defender. How dare you. How dare you. The reach on here is super key. Super duper key. I basically have to have my my 3 mana enchantment that draws if I have 4 power creature out to take advantage of Burlfist Oak. Oh, that was pretty brutal. But it's worth playing again. Yeah, I think it definitely is worth replaying. If this were an instant, it would be so much better. Garrick, Rise Again, and Carrion Grub. This is interesting. So I can draw Carrion Grub and then have Rise Again. Nothing's in my graveyard right now. I think I'd draw Carrion and then keep Garrick on top of the deck. It's nothing I want to resurrect, and if I did, I'd lose the power on the Grub. Pretty much just want to make sure I have gas. There's a ton of interaction that blue has at instant speed and cheaply. I could just get tapped down for the rest of the game. Okay, so he has a kill spell. He has a shock. He has 7 damage. Four, 5, 6, 7. He's tapped out, so if I do this for 1, if I spend 2 mana on this, then I can kill one of his guys. And I think I leave this guy up. Like, he's pretty much out of spells. One, two, three. Pay 2. Target creature you control. Doesn't really matter. Right? They both go through. Yeah. It's funny I'm losing this race, and all he's done is cantrip. Get as much power on the board as I can. This guy has done work. Oh my god. He has done work this game. This is the perfect matchup for Hooded Blightfang. Like, most aggro decks actually have pretty convenient answers. I don't know if I should say convenient. This is always a very strong creature, but every time I played this card, and I've drafted it like 2 or 3 times now, our opponent can answer it. Solid. Solid. Feels good to have a decent game. My first 2 runs, I got beat out by a guy with like 5 bomb rares in his deck. Very first game. I just generally couldn't keep up in card quality, which is as much my fault as the RNG of pack opening. Creatures you control get +X equal to your devotion to green. Neato. 2 wins. I would love to hit 4. That's always the goal. Break even on draft. Keep the videos coming. Wololo. Anyone an Age of Empires fan? Chopper. I don't really need a cultivate here, but this, I go first, so I don't have to worry as much about being beaten the hell up. So I'll keep on 3 lands, even with this few playables. That's really good for me. I absolutely want I'm probably not going to have much use for spiders in this game. They can't attack in. I don't need cultivate either, though. It's just a shame to blind pick the top of the deck, but I have a high enough percentage of creatures that blind picking the top of the deck actually works a lot of the time. So he's red. Red has some flyers. And I'm actually going to cultivate here so I can hit this next turn. Probably grab double green. And double sage do a lot of work this game. Time to do some work. I'm gonna go to work. It's nice that Hunter's Edge isn't actually a fight spell. It's gonna help me out quite a lot here. Primal Might is more efficient. I can do it for 3 mana. I have 6 mana, so if I cast this for 3 and fight it, I win. 3 mana, so cast it for 2. Okay, so I'll play this first. Just to make sure the game doesn't auto-tap my lands the wrong way. Pay 2. So I was going to say, like, this is less flexible than the card I used, but I wouldn't have been able to play Blightfang. Hunter's Edge onto Hooded Blightfang actually kills any creature, which is pretty cool. Death Touch interaction. That's all right with me. Block him. Block him, I dare you. I double dare you. So we're pretty safe now. I have removal and I have protection. There isn't a whole lot our opponent can do to stop this. I could just let them trade. I think I need to kill him. I'm gonna put the counter on the more problematic creature to deal with instead of trying to stack this up. 4 power deals with a lot of creatures. And going up to 5 power doesn't actually change a whole lot. Sabertooth. Loving it. So he knows I have an instant speed spell in my hand because of the way I'm tapping. Or because of the way I'm pausing between combat. It would have been smart of me to pass on priority, so that wouldn't happen. Not even sure how that's exactly done anymore. It's holding spacebar or something. I don't really trust myself to try it. So I'm pretty safe from combat tricks with the 4/6 pump. This is going to be a 7/7. So, spoke too soon. I am not safe. That card is huge. Just huge. I've been getting land flooded. He has serious card advantage on me. I might not be able to close out the game. Even if I draw my own Garrick's Uprising, I won't get a card off it. But I still have like double Dreadmaw in the deck that I haven't seen. I have one more Gnarled Sage. I have lots of ways to thin through my deck. These are all really low impact creatures. He could play the Thief card, the draw 2, and pump this twice, which is pretty scary. I might be able to have surprise lethal here. If he doesn't block, I can kill him. Okay. And turn. So this, I puts a +1 counter on a creature, and then I double the number of counters. Give my guy hexproof. That was weird. It looked like it was still gonna target. Deal 5 damage. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's a big snake. That is a big snake. I love it. What a beautiful game. What a beautiful game. It's working out, my friends. Working out. Try not to gurgle my coffee so much. A gurgle gurgle. 3-0. And like, this is a solid, consistent deck. But the card rarity is not even existent. It's a very, very reasonable card rarity here. Pretty solid. And believe me, I've been blown out by some doozies. The like 5-minute enchantment that doubles instant and sorceries. I got massacred by that thing. Massacred. Da da da. Ba ba ba. It's pretty okay. Just having any kind of protection early in the game is a win. Nothing to follow it up with. But the majority of our deck is good 3-drops. Mirror matching the green deck. People are so scared of aggro. That's a nice combo though. If you have a couple size. I was thinking they were talismans. If you have a couple talismans in your deck, you can really afford to play cheap creatures like this. Just for the sake of not dying. Get out of here. There were 4 lands on top. Whew. I gotta invest in a new pop mask. Pop filter, I mean. I mean, it's good to invest this now, but this doesn't do anything. I mean, it kinda does. Okay. Maybe get a good trade here. I am kind of telegraphing what I have because the game pauses whenever I could play my instant. I forgot he would do that. So I no longer have a good play. I should have just dropped Garrick's Uprising. And this is gonna hurt. Equipment's pretty solid. Truffle snout. So I need 5 mana for that combo. Right. I need 5 mana Yeah, none of it actually works. So I can Investigating Surge to combat Trick one of his things down, but it's also not the trade I would have liked. It's going to put 2 counters on something. It's going to make this a 3/5. And he probably has his own tricks. I want to kill off this creature first, so I don't get 2 pumps on the side. He's gonna -4 me. This is kind of perfect. Ranger, Guile, open. Worked out exactly as I needed it to. So now this is pretty safe. I can fight his guy before I drop Garrick's next turn to get an extra card draw. And making sure that this doesn't get extra pumps is super key. So I take 2 for attacking, which is unfortunate. It's a difference of 2. I've already taken 8 damage. It's arguably worth it to start racing with 4 damage versus 2. So tap, sack, draw a card. Oh, I didn't even realize this had that text. That's a really cool combo. Oh, I did that so well. That was really impressive. Very cool. He shut me down so hard with that. So I'm just kind of desperately trying to find an answer. I don't think I kept the 1 mana Kill a Flyer in my deck. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. I am a goner. He killed me just before I would have been able to draw. And killed my 4/6. 4/6 spider. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of cards invested in 1 spider that you played on turn 2. Ranger's Guile has been pretty much an all-star so far. Trackdown has performed super well. Super duper well. Hooded Fang has been great. Cultivate has been kind of so-so. I have a lot of good cards to cast on 3 anyway. Like, these are all proactive spells. Maybe not Garrick's, but it's still fine to play on 3. And I do want to open up 1 slot to put in Run Afoul. I think that should help my deck. All right. Bringing it back. Bringing it back. Public jaunty? Pray tell, what is a public jaunty? Being on the play makes this hand quite a bit better. I don't know yet whether I want to play Visionary. I guess, yeah, playing Visionary lets me go into an early Gnarled Sage, which is pretty solid. And it also, if my opponent has removal, I prefer not to make this vulnerable. This man is weird. You're so weird. Why are you so weird? Why, brother? I love the little face inside the mouth. A card like this needs some flavor text. James Payek? Payek. James Payek. Kinetic Augur, Trample. 0/4. Power equal to the number of instant sorceries in your graveyard. Enters battlefield, discard 2 cards, and draw that many cards. So he discarded... Oh, it's up to? Interesting. I thought this was a mandatory rummage when I first saw it, but it's actually quite a bit better being optional. Quite a bit better. So he milled only 1 land, which is really good news for me. He's totally tapped out. I can draw off of Garruk's right now. I actually have enough mana to Garruk and Hooded Fang, which is quite nice. There isn't really any interaction my opponent can have. But I might as well keep him guessing. And that was a really solid turn. One 4 is pretty hard to kill. He needs to have the deal 5 damage spell, the uncommon. There's a couple more expensive spells. Actually, there's a lot of removal in red. I think I hold this back. This is where everything could go wrong. If he has something, now is the time. So if he has an interactive spell, which he almost definitely does with 5 mana untapped, I don't want to wait until combat to find that out. So I'm gonna do this, and I might get punished. Yeah, maybe that was wrong, actually. I just justified something that wasn't entirely smart thinking. Okay, what? Isn't that 3 damage? It's 3 damage. He's gonna double burn me. Okay. Tap 2 creatures. Alright. So I could have dealt damage, but I'd rather just have a 2/5 Death Touch blocker. Which is getting really out of control. The difference between a 1/4 and a 2/5 is kind of insane. So clearly your opponent had different ideas about what was going to happen there. Experimental Overload. So he creates a 2/2, he gets to return an instant or sorcery to his hand. So he now has Dragonfire. So we could block Scorch, something along those lines. And I'm just going to fill up the board. Let him kill off a different creature off of a Scorch combat trick. Okay. Pretty good value for me. And the cool thing about being able to resurrect one of these Gnarled Sages with Garruk's Uprising on board is I'll draw a card from it. But this is looking pretty great. Takes 8. We get to mill 4. Oh, double. Wow. Double Colossal were on top of my deck. He thinks he's in heaven right now. But guess what, sir? Boom. Pretty amazing. I put down 12-11 worth of stats in that turn. With trample, everything has trample. Exactly what you want and need. That was sweet. I'm so glad this token doesn't have prowess. I mean, that card's already really good. It'd be kind of broken if it did. Does this matter? Is there like a triple red prevent all combat damage? I don't think there is. Boom. -11. Hell yeah. Just breezing through these.